Huh?
You're using YouTube to broadcast, right?
Yeah.
Why not use the Twitch or the... Oh wait, you're not on a computer.
Yeah, it always says that whenever I use YouTube. I'm gonna have to restart my mode.
You have to do your scholar mission. You have to basically do this stuff. And you do it by yourself. There's not as many enemies, but it's the same exact everything. But like instead of there being 2 of these guys, it would have been 1. Place Elvia online. Ready for the next one?
Yep.
No. You're not ready. Stop progressing and leave.
Once and then unqueue us, so that way might go quicker.
Well.
Even though it is going quick, but you know what I'm saying.
If I was on a DPS, I probably would do what you're saying. But being a healer or tank, it's never, rarely is it ever more than
We
5
had to
minutes.
wait 20 seconds. If you had us queued up for everything else, it could have been 1 second.
That is true. Sorry. Totally forgot you had to click on the elevator to go down. Now people complain, but I mean
This is the one that we got to pick up the key to, don't we? To get in the robot.
Yeah. It's the longer of the two. Out. How are you liking Heaven Sword so far?
Pretty dope. I'm in a cutscene right now. I'm still trying to understand why people say they didn't like it.
Heaven Sword
A
is
lot of
racist.
drama, a lot of dragons.
Yep.
He said it's racist.
Against dragons and Asian people.
Asian people.
Yeah, there aren't any in it.
So that means it's racist with Asian people.
Yeah. There's no Asian people in the game.
Well, it's made by Japanese
Doesn't
people.
matter. They're being racist to their own people.
He said, yeah, we only have white people in the game made by Japanese people.
Well,
you
do
would
you see-
think they would have some more, like,
You know,
Asian,
Amazon.
Japanese
Come the fuck
kinda
going,
cultured,
cutscene. Jesus.
characters.
Sit back, relax.
Takes
That's the way this
fucking
one goes.
5 minutes to do the damn dungeon, but it takes fucking 25 minutes to do the whole goddamn dungeon because you got 20 minutes of fucking cutscenes.
Yep.
Could have seen piss you off that much, Ice?
Yes. Especially if I already seen it. That's why they have that skip button in the fucking options, so you can skip the cutscene.
Yeah, the Amazon, they have a Lost. I forget the name of that. Lost Wonder. But it's made by Chinese people or Korean people, and the Koreans made a game where most
No, it's fiction. It's like, so
Yeah.
they just have their own races and whatever.
But-
It's how the story
notice
is.
how there
In
is
your
no
fan-
The race
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Well, you can't. All fantasy has all colors in it, so you can't have that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's off-colored people in Final Fantasy. You know, you got purple skin and green, blue skin and all
Yep.
that shit. So it's like,
But how
You
are
know?
you supposed to represent black people if you don't have a black person?
Because in my fantasy, there ain't no.
How are
black
you
people.
supposed to represent? Yeah, but you're not you're thinking like a normal person. Remember, grab the key.
he said you're
Like a
thinking like a
targeted.
normal person.
Yeah, these people aren't normal.
Yeah. He's an SJW brain.
It's my fantasy,
I'm gonna
and
smoke some weed real quick before I continue this.
I have who I want in it.
Yeah, no, I never cared about like stuff like that in video games because like it doesn't need to be that deep. It's a video game, like it's a fiction, it's fantasy, like, you know.
Yeah. Now, if it
If a game wants to care that much about representing a certain race or something, then make that video game about that.
No, it just
Don't,
makes them
don't make me don't make
racist.
some freaking fantasy sword fighting war game where we care about black people. Like I don't know, I don't care. I want fantasy and war. I don't care about what color he is. I want to be a badass dude that kills people. Like it's a video game.
yeah, well, it's putting real world beliefs into a fantasy.
Exactly.
world
It's
that
adding
has nothing to
yeah,
do
it's
with
adding politics to fiction. Like who the fuck cares? It's a fantasy, it's a story,
Well,
it's fiction, it's like
But
Well, like
it
with
doesn't
it,
need to be
they're
politics,
destroying
real world
He-Man.
politics in it. Yeah.
He-Man is getting completely destroyed because of politics.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that actually. We talked about that.
Kevin Smith is about ready to Ryan Johnson himself right out of the history books.
Yeah, no, it's annoying when they bring real world politics into video
now they-
games and like just
So
just
He-Man is a
fantasy
white
stuff,
guy,
in it, not
right?
video games, just movies, comics, whatever.
He-Man
Yeah.
is a white guy. He can't be any
Yeah.
other race. He's white. He looks white. He's blonde hair, blue eyed, light skinned, burly man.
Mhm.
You know who his grandfather is?
So,
A super dark black guy now.
oh, now?
Yeah. So it's just been in Europe the comic book that kind of does a little prequel to the story that's coming out
Yeah.
is about this guy called Grayskull, who's in the old comic books, who's in the old cartoon, and he was an old white dude. You know, but then again, it's in Eternia, which doesn't have white people in it. Doesn't have black people in it. Because Eternia is a fake world on another planet. With aliens and robots that talk and magic.
It's the aliens and robots that talk and magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were black, I mean, they had characters that had darker skin in it. But now they're changing He-Man's grandfather. And how do you get somebody that is that dark become that white in one generation? It doesn't happen.
You'd have to have like 5 generations of like his son dating like a white girl, and then you know his kids dating a white girl, and just getting lighter and lighter.
Yeah. I don't think he hit me.
But, God damn
Yeah, it
it's
is.
easy as hell.
Yeah, I used to be super excited for He-Man. I now can care less. They're not even gonna have He-Man isn't gonna even be the main character in his own story.
He-Man, the Blee Man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I guess Kevin
He-Man's
Smith
black
on his
now?
podcast. Yeah, I guess Kevin Smith on his podcast, Saturday, I think it was. He had, because he always takes questions from people. And for like a half an hour, 45 minutes, every single question was about He-Man and why is he changing so much of the characters.
He's selling
And
out.
he started getting really pissed. Yeah, he started getting all pissed off. Because he probably got forced into it by the studio.
No,
because
how
Netflix
can you
has
get
a
forced?
thing.
He's choosing to direct the movie.
Well, Netflix
So he's
is
not being-
funding it.
Again, he's a sellout.
They're funding it, and
he's
I'm
the
not saying he
directing
isn't.
it. So,
But Netflix cannot make a show now without having representation in it.
but yet he's not being
and
forced.
he chose to go along with it.
Right. He's choosing to do it because he's selling out. And for a person
That's
who's so big,
Why he's getting all pissed off.
Well, then he should quit as director.
Well, I think so, but the thing is, he should have known that people are going to get upset, and he now is getting upset that people are getting upset at him.
Well,
because he chose to fuck it all up.
Right.
And now he's going to Ryan Johnson himself, and then nobody's going to care about his next movie.
Well, did anybody really care about it? I mean, any of his movies?
There were a ton of people that cared about it.
Everybody cared about He-Man.
I've loved all of his movies.
No, I did not say that. I said, did anybody really care about his movies?
I did.
I didn't.
I love all of his movies.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ernie like Jay and Silent Bob. All the other ones sucked to me. But
Yeah, I liked all of them. I watched Clerks. I've seen Clerks hundreds of times. Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma. All those.
to
Mallrats 2.
My point is, none of his movies really made millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. So I was really
Well, yeah, but he wasn't making blockbusters.
So to me,
He was an independent filmmaker.
No one really cared. No one really
That
cared
didn't
about his
sell
movies.
He's got a following of millions of people that go see his movies.
Yes,
But his next movie is nobody's most of the people aren't going to go see his next movie. Just like Ryan. And now, what I think it'll be interesting is to see what happens with Hasbro. How much, if this comes out and it's a complete flop, how pissed off is because Hasbro's looking at this like they have a money train coming in. People are going to start buying the He-Man toys again. And that's the only reason why Hasbro did this TV show was to sell toys. It has nothing to do with the show. And Netflix, basically in the beginning, Hasbro had a lot of say in what was going on with the show, and then Netflix basically canceled the He-Man show, and then they renegotiated or whatever, and Netflix now mainly has the most rights to how they're going to present He-Man.
Well, and then Hasbro.
And they kind of let Hasbro sit off on.
Hasbro selling out.
Well, Hasbro's going to lose out the most because they get. Well, no, they got pushed out. They didn't sell out; they got pushed out.
How did they get pushed out? They chose to let Netflix do He-Man.
No, that's not the way rights work. They sold the rights to make the TV show to Netflix. Netflix then changed the whole entire show around, and they had no say. Hasbro didn't have any more say in it because of the way that the contract was.
Again, they sold out.
Hasbro fucked up. Well, everybody sells out because they have to make their shit. Somebody has to make it. So you're always going to sell out. The problem is they sold out, and then the company took advantage of it.
Right. Well, it's like, you know, you create like a program or a software, a video game, something. Some big company wants to buy it. You know,
Yeah. The minute you sell an
500 million or whatever, you know. Yeah.
The minute you sell an
Gotta
album,
make your money.
your very first album, you are now a sellout.
Yeah.
The minute you make a product that somebody buys, you are now a sellout no matter what. But what they did is they did their typical Hollywood.
It's just whether you sell
contracts.
it in a smart way or don't.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, they did the typical Hollywood contract where they give the rights to Netflix. Netflix then has the ability to do whatever they want to the show.
Yeah. Well, it's like Elon Musk he created PayPal. He sold out for that, you know what I mean, for millions of dollars.
Billions.
And he took all that money that he sold out for and put it towards SpaceX and Tesla.
Yeah. There's 10 people that created that, and all 10 of them are billionaires.
Yeah, it was called X stock.
But yeah, I wonder how pissed is Hasbro going to be, I think, when nobody buys the toys, when nobody buys anything.
No buying stuff. No buying.
I mean, I was gonna buy all the He-Man toys, but I'm not gonna buy them anymore. I mean, not that there was a lot. There was like 5 toys, at least in their first wave. But I have no interest in buying any He-Man toys now. Unless the show comes out and it's completely opposite of what most everybody's saying, then I'll change my mind and maybe I'll buy some toys.
Buy a toy.
But the way it's looking, I'm not giving him any money.
Give him money. Give him all your money.
If they did He-Man the way it's supposed to be, then I would give him money.
Well, if they made He-Man a girl.
Then it won't be He-Man, it would be She-Man.
Well, you got She-Ra. You already have that.
No, it'd still be He-Man because it's a transgender that wants their pronouns and still wants to be identified as a he.
You already got that show.
Like
It's called She-Ra. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you already got that show called She-Ra.
Really? They support LGBTQ with their show?
She-Ra did.
Oh, okay.
She-Ra was a horrible show. The one that came out like 3 years ago.
Oh, okay. I don't know about it.
Original He-Man show had a bunch of black people and, you know, females. Like, it wasn't all guys. But SJWs don't believe that the world existed 5 years ago.
It didn't. Everything is.
When what's her name? Captain Marvel came out. They're like the very first female-led superhero. What? Wonder Woman already came out before that. Like, you already lost that one. And there was a Supergirl movie in the 80s. There was Wonder Woman movies in the 80s. You know, there was Tomb Raider. There was a ton of female-led movies.
Yeah.
But you couldn't say that because she has to be the first.
Which is strange, is it not?
Now Captain Marvel is a failed project because she can't even be in her own movie. The second movie is called The Marvels, and there's going to be like 4 Captain Marvels in it. That's how bad of a character she is. She never had a comic book that made it past issue 12. Since 2010, she's had like 15 comic books, and not a single one of them made it past 12 issues.
It's all your fault.
Yeah. Well, Miss Marvel had the same issue. And now she's going to be in the Marvels. That Kamala Khan that grows her hands.
Why do they cling to these false
She's a
deities?
failed character.
What drives even men of learning? Even the
Come on, Kamala Harris? She's a failed character?
Well, she's a failed vice president, and she's gonna be a failed. She's gonna lose if they make her the nominee in 2 years. They could put up a Rock, and she'll lose against the Rock.
Well, remember that one year when there's a tree you could vote for?
Yeah. That was Hillary Clinton.
So is that year?
Yeah.
Or you could vote for the tree? Yeah.
Remember year back when you could vote for Deep Nuts?
The tree got like 40,000 votes or something like that. Yeah, Deep Nuts.
It was funny, D's Nuts.
I voted.
Not this past election, the one before, D's Nuts won governor for North Carolina, but the person who was D's Nuts, he was a black dude who was 17 years old, and he was too young to do it.
Come, champion of Eorzea. Face me. Your defeat shall serve as proof.
Yeah, I know. When it was Hillary Clinton, I voted for Woody Woodpecker.
It is only right that I should take your realm. None among
I didn't vote
you
for
has
Hillary
the power
Clinton.
to stop me.
Second time around, I didn't vote for Obama.
So you did the first time?
I did the first time. First time I did because I thought he was actually going to be who he said he was. Second time, he already lied, and I knew he wasn't going to do anything he said he was going to do. So I wrote in Bernie Sanders.
I remember when Bernie Sanders voted me.
Yeah, and then in 2016, I campaigned for Bernie, and I was at the Democratic convention in Las Vegas when the Hillary Clinton people locked the doors and locked out, hit more than half the people that were there for Bernie Sanders.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they wouldn't let people in, and then they got on the news media that Bernie Sanders people were throwing chairs. And I was right next to the guy that was supposedly threw the chair. And he picked up the chair and slammed it down on the ground and sat on it. But the Hillary Clinton people went on the news and said that people were throwing chairs at them. That's why they had to close the doors.
Wow.
No, it was a complete shit show. That's why I was never going to vote for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Because she cheated Las Vegas. Because actually Bernie Sanders had more votes, but because she locked all those people out when they came time to do the delegation vote before the election, you have to have all your representatives have to show up, all of their representatives, and if some of your representatives don't show up, but all of mine do, then I win, even though you won the vote.
Yeah.
So that's what they did. Is Bernie Sanders had more representatives. He won the vote, but he got cheated, along with a bunch of other states. But that was craziness. There's people yelling and screaming, and they're trying to break down the door to get in. The Hillary Clinton people had a whole bunch of police that were on her side. They were holding back the door.
Allow me then.
Sorry, I muted my mic because it was windy. So that's crazy.
Which you will not.
I would have threw a chair at him. No, I'm kidding.
No, it was craziness.
Well, I remember the fucking, imagine being at the, what's it called? The Capitol of Washington. Capitol building.
Yeah, I've
When
been.
they fucking stormed the Capitol building.
Yeah, I've been to a bunch of different. I was in what 2012.
Oh.
I was at the delegation in Las Vegas. I was in the 2016 one. I was in the 2008, I think it was. I was a delegate in those. I feel like we've been in here a lot longer than 21 minutes.
Oh, now.
Because it was 110 seconds, or 110 minutes when we started. This guy's 6 minutes. Yeah, but for the seals, it's worth
The
it.
ultimate weapon is all-powerful. Why does my enemy still stand? Can her strength truly be so great?
It is the blessing of light that confounds you.
I didn't even notice. We have anybody that's their first time.
Nah, wasn't paying attention.
Your foe acts under
There
the
was a
protection
10-minute
of
long
the
video.
master she bears.
So, you couldn't really see.
So, this is what empowers her.
Beyond mortal limits. If you are to prevail, the hammer of darkness must needs be brought to bear upon the shield of light. And so it shall, for the ultimate weapon is host to a power of which you are as yet ignorant.
See, it would be nice is if at the beginning, if there's no new people, it would ask us, do we want to skip cutscenes?
Yeah.
The heart of
You know, if there's new people, then just have, you know, if the one person that's new says he wants to skip cutscenes, then cool, let's all skip them.
Right.
You know, if there's a couple of them, just majority of whoever, but only the people that, you know, have that get to vote.
Do you speak?
You know, so if there's 3 new people, all right. But like right now, if there's no new people, then why are we sitting here watching all these cutscenes?
Right. Or make it where we all can skip it, but
I sought the
we
life
can't
force
skip it,
of
or
the
unless
animals,
the new people
for
skip
no
it, but it
other
pops up
reason
on the
but
screen
to quicken
saying
the core.
5
For
people
the true power
wants
of
to
the
skip the
Ultima
cutscene,
weapon
6 people want
lies
to
within its
skip the
now
cutscene, and then
beating
if that new
heart.
person sees that, and then they say, okay, well, I'll skip it.
La Brea, what have you done?
But this one
No
here,
more than
this
was
dungeon, it
necessary
takes forever to get
for
through
my
just because
God
of the
to be
cutscenes.
reborn.
Damn you, Ascian.
The hour is at hand. Behold but a sliver of my God's power.
Then, like earlier, we had that one cutscene, then we went through the teleporter, and then we had another
Gate of the
cutscene.
7 hells, to the very pinnacle of the heavens, the world shall
3
tremble.
minutes.
Unleash Ultima!
At least it's voiceover time.
Oh, that's it. Wasn't even paying attention.
Such devastation! This was not my intention!
Oh, Hydaelyn, it seems the task of keeping your champion alive has exhausted what strength you had left. Van Belsar, your enemy's shield is broken. The rest I leave to you.
We will speak later, Ascian. But first, I must deal with you. The
This is
question of
almost
who is mightier remains.
I hope.
Come, adventurer. Let us find the answer.
I've been lucky the last 4 or
together.
5 times I've ran this dungeon. I've gotten the shorter one. Or it's only like 4 or 5 bosses.
Heed me. The subjects of a weak ruler must needs look to a higher power for providence, and their dependence comes at a cost to the realm. The misguided elevate the frail, and the frail lead the people astray. Unless a man of power wrests control, the cycle will never be broken. You of all people must see the truth in this. You who have the strength to rule.
Pathetic. You boasted of unrivaled power. You were entrusted with the ultimate weapon, the ultimate magic. And still, you failed. So much for the glory of man. The growing imbalance afflicting the planet must be redressed. If it is permitted to worsen, the very laws of existence, both etheric and physical, will be warped beyond all recognition. Know you the root of this corruption? Hydaelyn. Like a parasite, she must be burned out if the planet is to recover. And naught but the return of the one true god will ensure her complete excision. Yet, to pave the way for the Master's return,